Thank you, Louise. I'm very grateful to be here to help represent the American Red Cross in Provo Council. I am a volunteer with what we call Community Preparedness and Resiliency Services.
Okay,
And I'm also a paid staff member through the American Red Cross. I'd just like to pass out a few things. I want to take a few
Shawn, you don't have to speak up loud because we don't have a microphone. So
Okay, sorry, I'll try to speak up louder. The program that we're trying to introduce as the Red Cross is called Ready Neighborhoods. And Ready Neighborhoods is essentially, I work with disaster services with the Red Cross here locally. A lot of times when people think of Red Cross, they think of blood services. I'm not here for your blood. Just to make that clear. But we do focus on emergency preparedness and disaster response. And so one of the things that we would like to do is throughout all the neighborhoods in Provo, neighborhood by neighborhood, going through the chairs, vice chairs, businesses, nonprofits, schools, etc. And even putting together potentially law firms, if you will, demonstrations, engage the neighborhood to help get people prepared for disaster. Specifically focusing on the elderly, those with mobility, those with families, etc. Homelessness, so the underserved population that could need that assistance. In Provo, there are and have been many elsewhere, single-family homes, etc. It's also recently, with this last year, with flood, several floods throughout Provo, one of which just got past the Provo Temple. There's also some minor flooding, mining like Carterville. And so we want to try to get every single neighborhood, be it the businesses, the schools, etc., involved in readiness and preparedness. And trying to get volunteers or interns involved in helping out with our program so we can go out into the community more and help prepare neighborhoods for those disasters.
Just so that we aren't duplicating our efforts, I'm kind of curious how you're connected with, say, CERT or in conjunction with Chris Blitzinger, the city. I thought that's what he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Both CERT and Red Cross are similar in their services. And I have been working closely with Chris Blitzinger to try to put on events maybe together. I've been working with Provo Council Mall, and they have agreed to let us come in and do presentations of groups, of which I would like to have Chris Blitzinger serve the fire department, other first responders involved. The other thing is we work on building partnerships throughout the city with various organizations. And I'll be completely honest, in the past we've had a little bumps and hiccups and growth in our organization. People come to pick it up. But our chapter has really made some major improvements. We are out in the community more, and we are seeking to build those relationships so that we can work together to make sure, whatever CERT takes care of, what we take care of, trying to find ways that we can work together, or if there's a gap in a service that they may not provide that we do, how can we work together? Yes.
To me, it's an obvious question. I live in an area and belong to an equivalent organization that does their own thing. That's probably true of 95% of the people here. Tell us how you're working with the LDS Church in Provo.
Perfect. With the LDS Church, we are working on an agreement with CDI, Desert Industries, so that in the disaster, say a house fire, families, clothing, housing materials, we can come up with a way that we can get vouchers to those families so that they can get clothes. As far as the LDS churches specifically, and we are inclusive to all faiths, which is really important. But with the LDS Church and others, we have agreements set up with them, or will have agreements with other various faiths, so that we can use certain church facilities for shelters, maybe a feeding place, maybe a place to go to make connections. So if there's a disaster, people get displaced, they can go there. And we do work with a variety of different services, and the little booklet that's going around kind of gives you an idea of the various services that we provide. One of which is we are currently still doing assistance with Questar Gas for those who are senior citizens, 60 years of age or older, disabled or temporary disabled. And so we do assist Questar with their program to help clients. Yeah.
I had a senior citizen in the neighborhood who needed help. They called Questar, they called the city, and said the programs did not exist. There wasn't no help for them.
If they are 60 years of age or older, disabled or temporary disabled, at this time of the year when the HEAP program is open, the requirements are that they first go through the HEAP program to
The HEAP program, they said, doesn't exist for us. That's what they told 2 weeks ago.
They can call me and I can work with you. We can call HEAP to verify, find out what's going on. Sometimes there are miscommunications or misinformation out of the community, and so we strive to correct miscommunications. So those programs do exist, but they, as far as HEAP, they have to qualify for HEAP. If they don't meet some of the requirements of the HEAP program, which is separate, then they may not get assistance from HEAP. But we always try to, we have connections with the INWA and various other organizations so that we can still make sure that they get the assistance that they need, one way or another, for some organization. Yeah.
In a citywide disaster, how would you be communicating with different individuals, neighborhoods? Obviously, the city, you probably have a way to do that, but alluding to the ham radio, you came and did a presentation for Grandview. Thanks, Leo.
With communications, really good question. We are in touch with Chris Singer, who's the emergency manager for the city of Provo, and over the CERT program. So we do have communications with them, and we're working, communicating with the city council, which is why I'm presenting this. I want to communicate with neighborhood chairs, and I have sent out emails to neighborhood chairs and vice chairs all throughout the city, and have gotten a few responses back. But I hope that we can continue to work with the neighborhood chairs and vice chairs to show that it is important that we come into your neighborhood, work with you, and find a way that we can work together and see the importance of having those presentations in your neighborhood through one meeting form or another, because disasters happen everywhere. Even in Carterville neighborhood, I've seen families affected.
So the point I was making is, if the normal communications were down, you may have to use a ham radio.
Right.
And unfortunately, I'm not sure that anyone in the city, including Chris, has a license. I've had to man the radio on occasion, and Steve Adams does. So I'm just kind of putting a plug in for anyone who wants to get a ham radio license.
Pretty easy. Continue with the ham radio, and I'll answer the questions. We do have a ham radio and ham radio licensed ham radio operators at our building. Although we are planning sometime, hopefully within the next year, into a better building, a better standard. And so we do have people that are certified, whether it be through the Sheriff's Department of Utah County and others. I'm looking to get licensed in radio, so, and my job long as a ward missionary, Red Cross hat, but as a ward missionary for my ward, I've actually been working with the state, excuse me, and they have ham radio clubs there at the state center. And so through the various stakes, and every time we go out into the community, we do presentations on emergency preparedness. And wherever I can, I will put a plug in for ham radio or work with your CERT members And we are working with CERT to, we are working with Chris to eventually get CERT members trained in sheltering. So, next question.
In a former life, I lived in an area that was subject to hurricanes, and part of the emergency preparedness were portable cell stations that had their own fuel and a generator, and so they could be pulled into an area that turned on, and there would be cell service where it had been knocked out. Now, there has to obviously link through a system, so it can't, there's a setup, but that to me would seem like another very valuable approach, because most people do have cell phones. Very few of us will ever get a message from a ham radio, and we're depending on one of our neighbors, get the message and spread it.
With most disasters, that's going to be your first thing that's going to go is your cell phone.
Right, that's why they build portable cell things, and this was Houston area, and honestly, within hours of the hurricane clearing, cell service was restored. Even though cell towers, the fake Christmas tree by Wills would get knocked over. Has anyone seen a Ponderosa Pine down in the valley besides Alan? I'm sorry. What I'm saying is, I hear some ham radios and I'm, okay, that's good. But let's make sure we have an idea on how to restore cell service in our age, so I can call my kids and tell them I'm really all right, that kind of.
On that one, I would probably recommend maybe working with a city or a company of whatever sorts. Work with them to see what they can set up. There's one question.
Not a question, but as a plug for your emergency preparedness search, Chris, there is a program that Chris was pushing last year where he has emergency preparedness packages. He'd love to get them out to every person in the city. He doesn't have that many, but he does have. I knew he had funding for 500. We used 100 of them. It's a fairly painless Eagle Scout project. If you have any Eagles in your neighborhood or looking for a worthwhile project, contact Chris Blitzinger. It really was. My son did it. It was fairly painless, and every house and we did not do our whole Edgemont neighborhood. That would have been a huge number. We did 150 houses. But we got one of these packets in 97% of those houses. So that is, if there is something in our neighborhood, hopefully people are trained at this point. They know how to use the packet, set it up. Oh, look, Gary's good. We can bypass him and move on to the next person who might need help quickly.
Along that lines, really quick, I won't take up too much time, but I, as an individual, not as Red Cross, but as an individual, have gone to local interfaith organization here in Utah County, with its Provo area, and we're trying to encourage them, where there are gaps in community service of volunteers, to work with the various faiths to go out into the community so that they can deliver those packets of information, whether it be CERT, Red Cross, or any other organization that may have a gap in volunteers to help them get the word out. So I would recommend going to interface services for that. Okay, perfect. Thank you.